Yeah, remember in the previous review for episode 1 when I thought that this episode was focused around Topher Grace and he was some crazy ride share driver that kidnapped somebody? Yeah, I got all of that wrong. What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Brothers of Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my review for episode 2 of season 5 of Black Mirror, titled Smithereens. Now, this episode stars Topher Grace, but it's really more so of a cameo because he doesn't pop up until like the last 15 minutes of the episode. And it stars, I can't remember the actor's name, but it's Moriarty from Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock series. So Moriarty stars as Christopher something that's really bad that I just finished the episode and I can't remember his last name, who's a ride share driver that picks up people outside of the UK office of this social media app Smithereens, right? So this episode, just like the first episode, is interesting and it has some interesting talking points. Chris kidnaps Jaden from Smithereens. Jaden is going to the airport. He jumps in the car. I think, I can't remember, it's Hitch, the name of the rideshare app. So Jaden gets a hitch to the airport. On the way there, he's glued to his phone, just doing whatever. Chris asked him, hey, do you work there at Smithereens? And he says, yeah. So Chris goes off route. Jaden isn't paying attention at all in any sense because he's glued to his phone. He basically kidnaps Jaden, runs from the cops because he puts a bag over Jaden's head, and you know, in the midst of Jaden throwing up in the bag because he's sick, he doesn't know what's going on, he gets the attention of the cops, drives off on him, and ends up in a very short chase. They're in the middle of the field. Most of the episode takes place in this field. In the car in this field. Chris wants to speak to Billy Bauer, who owns the app, right? So the Smithereens app. So he says he thinks he doesn't know that he flips out when Jaden tells him he's an intern before he takes him off. But he says, look, you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that can get in contact with him. So you need to do that. So Jaden left his phone in the other car when they were transferring cars, whatever. So they're in this field, right? Chris is holding Jaden hostage to speak to Billy Bauer because of a car accident that he was in 3 years ago. Chris was driving home with his girlfriend from his mom's place. They get into a car accident. His girlfriend dies. The drunk driver dies. Keyword. The driver of the other car was drunk. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, why the hell is he holding this intern at this social media site hostage? Because he wants to speak to the owner. That's because he feels like he's responsible for his fiance's death. Now, the reason being is because he was driving. He was getting bored. He gives Jaden a rundown of the story. He's driving. He was getting bored. He got a notification from the Smithereens app. He picked it up to check it. Boom, runs into the car. Now, the other driver was drunk, but he was the one that technically caused the accident. So he feels like he killed his fiance, and he got all this sympathy and everything like that. So he feels like he killed his fiance. So he wanted to speak to Billy to say his piece. Say, look, this happened because of me. You made your app very addictive. Why did you do that? And Billy starts telling him, hey, I started it as this one thing and it became this other thing. There's a team of people that market it for that specific reason to make it more addictive. I think that was an interesting point that they let him get out just enough of that before Chris just tells him, look, shut up. I don't really care about any of that. I wanted to get what I had off of my chest. So the goal of Chris is to kill himself after he lets Jaden go. Now, at one point, the police are surrounding them They have a sniper take a shot at Grace's arm. At one point, he tells him like, "Hey, he has a fake gun." But then when they start trying to close in on him, he says, "No, I lied." Nobody really believes him until he shoots the gun off. And he says, "Look, I will blow this kid's heads off if you guys pull any of this bullshit." The only reason why they start moving in, and this is another interesting thing, is because he's on hold with like the people in the Smithereen company, but they're listening into his conversation. So they do a weird two-way thing where they're listening into his conversation while they have him on hold. So he ends up connecting to Billy. They talk, whatever, like that. They get off the phone. He tells him, "Look, I'm out of here. I just wanted to say my piece." Jaden tells him, "Look, you don't have to kill yourself. My uncle killed himself, and it fucked my family up. And my mom is still a wreck about it. Don't do it." He tells him, "Look, just get out the car." "I can't get out the car. You still have the child locks on." I think Chris he puts his gun down kind of near the center console, kind of near the gear shift. And I don't know exactly what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to, maybe the child lock is just a simple button that he presses and not like something on the actual door. Jaden sees his opening, goes after the gun. They start wrestling over the gun. He's like, "No, you don't have to do it." So they get one of their officers to take another shot. They miss. The side window, the passenger side or driver side, I guess, in the UK, that window is shattered. So you don't have a super clear shot, but shot missed. They're still wrestling over the gun. The captain or whatever says, "Okay, shot authorized," giving her another, saying like, "Hey, you have the green light again and take a shot." Boom, shot is taken. We don't really see what happens. Now, one of the interesting things that Billy tells Chris, "Look, there's something that I can do for you." There's a group that Chris goes to in the beginning of the episode. One of the ladies there, it's like a help group. One of the ladies, her daughter committed suicide. The mother wants to know why. Now, for a minute, I thought that it was the mother of his fiance, but it wasn't. I don't know why I thought that. They started like showing pictures and everything, and we only had a very short video and flashes of Chris's memory of what his fiance looked like. So they kind of looked similar to me. She was trying to get into her Pandora, or I forget the name of the app, but it's a social media site as well. She keeps trying these wrong passwords. You get 3 chances before it locks you out for 24 hours. She has a book of guesses, right, that she's gone through. And it's not the first page in the book. It looks like it's maybe 15 pages in, filled with password guesses. So she's been at this quite a long time. He says, essentially, he asks Billy, does he know the owner, the guy who owns that app? He says, yeah. So then, she gets the call. She gets her daughter's password because she just wants to see her daughter's inbox to find out if there was anything at all that she can find that would give her an answer as to why her daughter killed herself. So he gets that done for her, which was very, very noble. But anyway, the episode ends with the officer taking the second shot, and it just goes to black. And we kind of see, during the credits, we kind of see reactions while Can't Take My Eyes Off of You is playing. And that was one of the songs that they had playing while Chris was on hold. So kind of a callback for that as well. But we don't see ultimately what happened. And if there is a finish, I didn't see it because the next episode started playing. So again, this episode is really, really interesting because it has a couple of talking points. One, is Chris responsible for his fiance's death? He was checking his phone and he got into a car accident, but the other guy was drunk. We can only presume that a sober person would have been able to honk the horn, swerve out of the way, something like that. It probably wouldn't have been a head-on collision like it was. I think it was either a head-on collision or maybe they got mostly T-bone, but whatever. You saw like debris hit the girlfriend in the face. I think he said she died 2 months later or something like that. So that's one talking point. Is he responsible, or is it still ultimately the drunk driver that's at fault? The other interesting talking point is the whole privacy issue. They had him on hold, but they were still listening in on his conversation. They were spying on him. And granted, the circumstances were probably called for it a little bit, but still, that's an invasion of privacy, right? So that's a good talking point as well for, should they have, was that an ethical decision to do? But yeah, overall, I think this is a really, really interesting, like this brings up interesting talking points. So I think overall, you could probably look at Billy saying that he started this company as one thing and it turned into this completely different thing, and he's basically a front man for it. How many other people started a company with one goal in mind, and then it got big and then got turned into something else completely out of their control? Overall, I think this episode was really, really good. We can talk about some stuff based on these episodes, but another interesting thing that I kind of noticed with the first 2 episodes is that technology, most of the time Black Mirror deals with like scary sci-fi ways that technology can come back and bite us in the ass, right? Like we have that one episode with the robot dogs. There's the other episode where Toby Kebbell, that episode revolved around the contacts that basically recorded everything, and you could go back and look at them, and he went back and saw that his wife was cheating on him and shit like that. Those are sci-fi ways that technology can come bite us in the ass, right? But the first 2 episodes of season 5 have been much more subtle. Granted, the first episode had that VR stuff, and it was the little dot that that knocks you out, completely immerses you into the game. But this one, it's the social media apps. It's the spying and the using our cameras and the microphones and everything like that to spy on us. This season is much more subdued, and it's more about us just being hooked into this form of technology versus, this is one way that technology can bite us in the ass. So I think that season 5 has that kind of thing running, and we're gonna see what type of episode, episode 3 falls into. So I'm about to watch that episode. When at the time of this video dropping on the channel, episode 1 will have already been out. Episode 2, my second Super Late Review for Toy Story 2 will have been out as well. So keep checking out all the other videos. Again, episode 2 is a really good episode, and I'm about to go on to 3. So check out the other videos, guys. Thanks for all the support, and tune in. I'll catch up with you guys later.